And did you have duct tape on your coat?
I did.
And it was a camouflage coat that matched the pants?
One more time, please.
Did the camouflage pants match the camouflage coat?
Yes, sir.
And you had camouflage belt on?
I don't remember what kind of belt I had on, but I usually wore a belt, yes, sir.
And what did you have with you?
I might have had my wallet. I know I had my work taser on me, and I know I had my diving knife on me.
At some point in time, did you make a phone call?
Yes, sir.
And who did you call?
I called my wife.
Erica?
Yes, sir.
And when you called her, then what happened?
She showed up.
Erica showed up. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What did you do with Ashley's body?
When I had to leave, I picked her up and put her in the car.
Whose car?
Ashley's car.
What part of the car did you put her in?
In the back seat.
And when you put her in the back seat, did she have anything on her that was placed on her that she didn't have on her when she arrived?
Yes, there was.
What was on her?
A zip tie.
How many?
I only remember one. I remember one around her neck.
So how did you lift her into the car?
How did I, what to the car, sir?
How did you lift her into the car?
I'm sorry, I don't know how to answer that.
That's okay. Let me ask another question. How tall was Ashley?
She's a little shorter than me, so 5'8", 5'7"-ish.
How tall are you?
6'2".
And is she how is she built? Big, small, medium?
She's hefty and strong.
So was it difficult for you to get her into the car?
Yes, sir.
So did you use the zip ties to lift her?
No, sir.
When you got her into the car, what did you do next?
I remember I struggled. She was heavy to get in the car, but I had to leave.
Why did you have to leave?
There were some things that happened, and it's hard to explain, but the only thing in my mind at that time was I had to leave, and I couldn't leave Ashley there.
So you left. Where did you go?
I drove home. Not to my house, though. I drove to a bridge.
And where was the Lincoln at this point in time? As you left this parking lot, where was the Lincoln?
Right in front of Ashley's car. I mean, not directly in front of it, but it was right there.
I'm sorry, right where?
Where Ashley's car was, well, the Lincoln was in front of it.
Okay. And so when you left the parking lot, was the Lincoln in front of you or behind you?
When I left the parking lot, the Erica and the Lincoln were behind me.
Okay. And you drove to where?
To a bridge. A bridge behind my mother and father's farm house.
Let me go back a little, just a tiny bit here. I overlooked something. When Erica, you said you called your wife and she came back. When she came
Yes.
back, was Ashley already in the car or not?
She was not.
So Ashley was on the ground.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you went to this bridge. How far away is this bridge from this location here on West Turkey Foot Lake Road?
An approximate guess, maybe half an hour.
And you two went there because why?
Well, I went there because that's actually a nice bridge that we used to hang out when we were dating. Erica went there because she was following me.
Can you see this video on the screen?
Yes, sir. It looks like a cornfield.
Okay, I'm going to let this play here for a second. Tell me if you recognize this.
Sir, that looks like the section of field that's next to the bridge.
All right, now I'm going to let this run a little further. All right, do you see this white vehicle here?
I can.
Do you recognize this area here?
Yes, sir. That looks like the section of field that's next to the bridge.
All right.
That surrounds the bridge.
So would the bridge you're talking about, cross this little stream here?
Yes, sir.
And do you recognize this road here?
I believe that's the road that runs right alongside of Trusco.
All right, and is that a company, Trusco?
Yes, sir. It's a lumber yard.
Okay. And so when you pulled in to this bridge, you said it was your and Ashley's bridge?
I didn't own it, but when we were dating, that's one of the spots we used to hang out at. It's just a little bridge not too far away from my mom and dad's property. That's just a nice place to hang out.
So was there some sentimental reason you went to this bridge?
It's our bridge, and that's why I drove there. It's very difficult to explain. That was a very difficult night.
All right.
But the reason I drove is because it's a place where we hung out.
Okay.
Safe.
So now, as you can see, this is panning. Where would your parents' home be?
Towards the top left-hand corner of the image that I see.
Over in this area somewhere?
Give or take, yeah, right, yeah, yes, sir, right about there.
So can you get to their house from this bridge?
Yes, sir.
How would you do that?
You'd have to drive through a field. You could easily walk, but if you needed to, you could drive. It's just a short hike away.
There's no road from that bridge to your parents' house. Is that fair?
No, sir.
Okay. And so, when you got to the bridge, where did you go?
I was at the bridge for a moment. Erica was behind me, and I kept driving through the cornfield until I couldn't drive anymore.
And then, where was the Lincoln when you drove over the bridge?
Still by the bridge.
So the Lincoln stayed by the bridge? The Lincoln.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the Lincoln stayed by the bridge and you kept driving?
Yes, sir.
And you drove, and do you recall where you drove to?
Where the image is panning, I kept driving down the edge of the field until I couldn't go any further.
If I told you that her vehicle was located in this little section right here, would you have any reason to disagree with that?
No, sir.
And you said you couldn't drive any further. At this location here, is there water here?
Yes, sir. That's Chippewa Creek.
Okay. So if you kept driving, you'd end up either in the trees or in the creek?
Yes, sir.
All right. When you got to this location, what did you do?
I parked the car and I left. I started walking back up towards the bridge.
Okay. And when you walked, now this field at that time, did it have corn in it?
I believe so.
Do you remember if it was cut or if it had already been cut or if it was just starting to grow?
I'm sorry, I don't remember. I don't remember.
How high was it?
I'm sorry, I don't remember paying that much attention to the corn. I don't know its height.
Okay. And so why did you leave the car over here as far as you could go in a cornfield as opposed to by the bridge?
I kept driving in the cornfield because Erica pulled up behind me in the Lincoln when I was at the bridge. I remember seeing her headlights in.
So why didn't you leave? Go ahead.
I had to get away from her. At the time I was trying to just get somewhere safe. And the bridge is where I went. I remember seeing Erica in the rearview mirror, and I just kept driving.
And you didn't put the car here to hide it from being discovered and found?
No, no, sir.
When you walked back through the field, which way did you walk? Did you walk along the line here, or did you cut through the field?
I'm not sure. Maybe a little bit of both. I remember seeing the headlights of the Lincoln, and I didn't have anywhere else to go, so I remember just walking towards the Lincoln with Erica. I don't remember the exact path that I traveled.
And is it fair to say that would be a long walk?
Yes, sir.
And this would be where the car would have been? Oop, I guess I missed that. And this would have been where the car was the Lincoln was?
Yes, sir.
All right. When you got back to this car, what did you do?
When I got back to the Lincoln?
Yes, sir.
I remember I got in the passenger seat and Erica drove home to our residence at Mount Eaton.
When you got to Mount Eaton, well, let me go back. After putting Ashley in her car, was there blood on you?
Yes, sir.
Was she bleeding?
Yes, sir.
And did you have blood on your hands?
Yes, sir.
And was that obvious?
It would have to be, sir.
So you get back into Lincoln and you go back to Mount Eaton. When you get back to Mount Eaton, I'm assuming that Erica and the kids are all still in the car, correct?
Yes, sir.
So when you get back, what do you do?
When we get back to the residence,
Yes.
ultimately I end up taking a shower.
Okay. And why did you take a shower?
I remember I was told I was messy.
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Vote to strike.
Overruled.
So you were messy, you took a shower.
Yes, sir.
And of course you had blood on you, you said earlier, right?
Yes, sir.
Were you concerned at this point in time about getting caught?
That wasn't even a thought in my head.